that if I make while speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. So just thank you very much. So we will start with Mangalacharan. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitamascha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kaptarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatye Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtuki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, Text 8. So we are reading. The shloka is Sa Ishvara Kal Urukarmo Asva Oja Sahasa Tvabalendriyatma Sa Eva Vishwam Parama Swashakti Shrajyatya Avatya Atiguna Trayesha. So translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme controller and time factor, is the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of the body, and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the controller of the three modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation and it annihilates it also. Hare Krishna. So purpose. Since the material world is being moved by the three material modes, and since the Lord is their master, the Lord can create, maintain, and destroy the material world. Hare Krishna. What is so? We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, so we all know who is speaking here. The speaker is our Prahlad Maharaj. So he is giving this section to his father. So in the previous slok we were reading, so Prahlad Maharaj was speaking, and before that we we saw like how Hiranyakashipu, when he heard from the teachers, like how Prahlad Maharaj, even though they were teaching him all the demonic things, but still he was not accepting, and still he's chanting the name of the Lord. That's why he said like even though he loved Prahlad Maharaj very much, but he called him rascal. So he said like how the three world is trembling because of me. They are all fearful. I am the chief ruler, and you are not fearful for my power. Why you are not fearful? So he was asking him question, who is the, with whose power you are not fearful about me? So that's why he was very, very angry. So because he tried all his best way to control Prahlad Maharaj, but he was not able to control. And finally, we said like from the previous text 7, Prahlad Maharaj started giving him instruction. He was telling my strengths. So the strength that I'm having, that strength and that strength you are having, we have the same source that is coming from the Supreme Lord. So he is saying, including all the controller, even the superior or inferior, those are moving or non-moving, even Brahma and big living entities, even the Brahma is the first living entity. All the living entities, we are getting strength from the Supreme Lord only. So he said, like, you are just, and that's why again he's telling today, like the he is the controller. The Lord is the controller of time factor, the senses, the mind, the body, and the everything. In his influence is unlimited. The Krishna's energies are unlimited. They are working. So that's why he's the best living entities, because he know past, present, and future. He know what's in our hearts. He know everything. He is the creator, maintainer, and annihilator. So under his guidance, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Maya dhakshena prakriti suyate sa chara charam. So under my control, the material energy is working. So even though Krishna is not directly working for this material world, Krishna expand himself. He expand, we all know from the Bhagavatam. So very nicely, like Parikshit Maharaj in the beginning of Bhagavatam, he was asking the nice question about the creation to Sukdev Goswami. And Sukdev Goswami, he, according to his desire, he was giving him answer. So that's why like he was telling one by one. Even in our parampara also, Srila Prabhupada, he never asked us to jump into the 10th canto directly. So Prabhupada asked us to read from the first canto, because first two canto are the lotus feet of the Lord. Even like Kunti Maharani in her prayer, she described how we can see the Lord. And Prabhupada again this he quotes like we should start seeing the deities from the lotus feet of the Lord, and then slowly, gradually, we can see the smiling face of the Lord. So this is Bhagavatam. So Sukdev Goswami, he was teaching like he was telling Parikshit Maharaj, first note that about Krishna and Gopis pastimes. He was describing how the material world is created by the Lord. So Krishna is not directly working for this material world. His energies are working. So he came as the Purusha avatar. So we know from the Bhagavatam, like there are three Purusha avatars: Karnadakshayi, Garbhodakshayi, and Shirodakshayi. The Lord appeared, and in this material world, he came for the maintenance of this material world. And he is, as Shirodakshayi, he is in the heart of every living entity. As Garbhodakshayi, as a Vishnu, who is the controller of each and universe, he is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. So he is controlling with his different energies. Sometimes his energies are working, sometimes he himself comes as incarnation. So these are his incarnation. So that's why he is the maintainer, annihilator, and creator. So he's by his energy only. Like when he creates, everything is dull metal. So Krishna put his glance. So Lord Shiva takes that glance and give to material creation, and then everything got life. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj, he is telling his fathers, So that the everything is coming from the Lord only. So everything is coming from the Lord only. And Purport Prabhupada explained very nicely how the three modes of material nature works. So in the morning, evening, and lunch. So we are in under the different modes of material nature. So according to that, Krishna is creating all this material world. So according to our which mode we are, we move according to the next body. Like somebody is always busy in the mode of goodness, always doing some worship, then they promote it to the good next life in the heaven. And those in the mode of passion, they stay in the material world, and those in the mode of ignorance, they accept the lower species, or they go to the below below the earthly planet. So this is the material world. It's created by the material Krishna's material energy, and we are working under the modes of material nature. But for the devotees, they are far beyond these three modes of material nature. That's why, like Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, like in chapter 14, text 26, he said, like how the devotees, they transcend the three modes of material nature and they come to the level of Brahman. So this is devotees. The devotees are superior. They are not under the modes of material nature. That's why Krishna and devotees, they are on the same level, because Krishna is also the controller of the modes of nature. But devotees, they are not the controller, but they can surpass these modes by accepting Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. So any work that we do, it can bind us, and it can free us. When we do something for our sense gratification, then it binds us. When we do the same work for Krishna's satisfaction, that free us. Like we have such a nice example of Arjuna. Like Arjuna, he killed so many people in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he didn't incur any sinful reaction, because he was doing everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. Lord Krishna told him, fight for my satisfaction. And he did that. On the other hand, if somebody kills somebody or giving somebody disturbing somebody, we get the reaction, because we are doing that action for our sense gratification. So that's why here the modes of material nature works. And if we surrender to Krishna, then we are free from these material modes of nature. So we will move to text 9. Jahaya asuram bhavamimam tvam atmana samam manodastasana santi vidvishaha rate ajita atmana utpate sthitat tadiya anantasya mahat samarhanam. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj continued, my dear father, please give up your demonic mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoise toward everyone, except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind. There is no enemy within this world. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord perfectly. Purport. Unless one is able to fix the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, the mind is impossible to control. Yeah. As Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita 6:34, Chanda Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridham tasyaham nigraham manaye vayor iva sudukkaram. For the mind is rascal, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, it seems to be is more difficult than controlling the wind. The only bona fide process for controlling the mind is to fix the mind by serving to the Lord. We create enemies and friends according to the direction of the mind, but actually there are no enemies and friends. Pandita Samadarshina Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Labate Param. To understand this, the primary condition for entering into the kingdom of devotional service. So this is also one of, again, very nice verse, like we all can see, like Prahlad Maharaj, he was, even though he know his father is demonic, like devotees, they never leave any opportunity to serve Krishna by preaching somebody, even somebody is a demonic or devotee, or like devotees are already on this path, materialistic or karmis or demon, any kind of living entities, because there is that Mahaprabhu's order is Yare Dakhe Tare Kare Krishna Upadesh. So Prahlad Maharaj, even though he know his father is so demonic, he tried all his means to kill him, still he is trying to tell his father. So this mind, your mind is giving you trouble. Leave this mentality. Keep everybody on the same level. Don't feel anybody is my enemy or friend. Nobody is our enemies. The biggest enemy is our mind. So because that's why we feel in the material world that person is my friend or enemy, because of our mind. So we have to control the mind with our intelligence. So we can tell our mind again and again, whom we are thinking enemy, maybe that person is my friend. Like in the material world, if somebody is giving us a lot of trouble, we should always just keep one thing in our mind. Just because that person is giving us trouble, so now we have more chance to think of Krishna. So like in the prayer of Queen Kunti, she was telling Krishna, so so I want those days where we were in trouble and you are coming to see us again and again. Whenever trouble comes, so it's a good time to surrender to Krishna immediately. So that is the devotee's attitude, normal for the devotees, because our situation is like, because when nobody is there, we know Krishna is there. That's why in the material world, people are struggling, people are suffering. On the devotees, even though there is trouble, they never feel that struggle, because they are totally surrendered to Krishna. Whenever some problems come, immediately they surrender to Krishna. So same thing, Kunti Maharani, she was praying Krishna. We want those days where we were suffering and you were coming to help us every time. We all know like how the Pandavas, they suffered a lot. They were such a pure devotees and they were suffering all kind of troubles in their life. But Krishna is very, very kind. He never leave his devotee for a single second, because he know his devotees are fully surrendered to Krishna. And then in the purport, Prabhupada explained very nicely how in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, who was a devotee of the Lord, who is always in association of Krishna, he is telling this shlok, Chanchalahi mana Krishna Pramadi Balavat Dridam. So he said like how the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. Baladi, so very, very strong. Sometimes our mind is so strong that it takes away from from far away from that place that we were thinking. Like our mind is so strong. That's why we have to control our mind again and again. How? Just practice. Practice. We need practice again and again, because our mind is always in so many things. We always think and makes the mind start thinking and it makes our day bad. So here, like Arjuna is saying, like mind is very hard to control, very difficult to control this mind. I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. So that's why Krishna said, just abhyasena konteya, just practice. Practice. We have to practice. And how we can practice? There is just if we sit one place and start thinking, I want to control the mind. No, we cannot control. We can control our mind through the Shastra, through the association of devotees, through the hearing from the senior devotees, then we can control the mind. But what they say, just chant Krishna's name, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, associate with devotees, serve the deities. So these are the method, these are the way. With that we can control our mind. And there is very nice in the Purport, Prabhupada explained very nicely, like how so So how there is no enemy and friend in the material world. So the Prabhupada quoted verse from Bhagavad Gita, Pandita Samadarshina. Those are the liberated soul. They, for them, they have equal vision. They see they see super soul in the heart of every living entity. They never feel any pleasure or pain just if somebody say anything. Like in Mahaprabhu said, that Shlok Shikshashtakam is very, very important for all of us. Like our spiritual master said, we just hang that Shlok in our neck. Trinadapi suniche taro rupi sahishuna amanina manadina kirtanya sadhari. If we follow this Shlok, then our Krishna consciousness is always wonderful. Because this is so important, like we should always feel like that. That is very, very important. At least Krishna is saying we are not perfect, but we should try to be try. It's not like we are all perfect. We are all trying our best. As we are all practicing Krishna consciousness, we are all trying our best. So that's why we should try. It's not like we can get perfection, but at least try. Krishna is always there to help his devotee. So that's why Prabhupada quoted another one more shloka from Bhagavad Gita. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu madhbhakti labhate para. So this is the devotee. So when devotee is equal for everybody, madhbhakti labhate param. So Krishna's devotional service. The result is we get Krishna's devotional service. So this is very, very important. How we can devotional service, like just by association of devotees by reading Bhagavatam, then automatically if we read something good, our mind goes toward that only. But if we read always something, some magazine or newspaper, then we read like how the material world is, how much people are suffering. Just we should know little bit, but not too much that we use our whole day in those things. We have to use our mind on those spiritual activities. Then automatically it's easy to control the mind. Otherwise, there is no other way. There is no other way. That's why Srila Prabhupada said again and again, we have to dovetail our activities. Instead of material activities, we can change them to Krishna conscious activities. Then we will read text 10. दस्युन पुरा सन्ना विजित्य लुम्बतो मन्यन्त एके स्वजिचा दिशो दशा जितात्मनोगस्य समस्य देहिना साधो समोहा Prabhava Kuta Pre. Translation. In former times, there were many fools like you who did not conquer the 6 enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. These fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all enemies in all the 10 directions. But if a person is victorious over the 6 enemies and equiposed toward all living entities, for him there are no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one in ignorance. Purport. In this material world, everyone thinking that he has conquered his enemies, not understanding that his enemies are his uncontrolled mind and 5 senses. Mana shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. In this material world, everyone has become a servant of the senses. Originally, everyone is a servant of Krishna, but in ignorance, one forgets this, and thus one is engaged in the service of Maya through lusty desires, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. Everyone is actually dependent on the reactions of material laws, but still one thinks himself independent and thinks that he has conquered all directions. In conclusion, one who thinks that he has many enemies is an ignorant man, whereas one who is in Krishna consciousness knows that there are no enemies but those within himself, the uncontrolled mind and senses. Very well. So here Prabhupada, like Prahlad Maharaj, he was telling his father So he know like his father, that's why he gave the term Grahamedi. His father is. So that's why like Grahamedi. So that in Grahamedi means those are always the just doing for their sense gratification. And Grasta is they Grahamedi and Grasta, the difference is Grahamedi are they have the senses are they are under the control of their senses. And Grastas are they are busy in serving Krishna. That's their prime duty. They are they have sense there is sense gratification that is also in service of the Lord. So Prahlad Maharaj know about his father very well, that his father he is a Grahamedi who is always in the sense gratification. That's why Hiranyakashipu, who is fond of gold and who is busy in sense gratification, that is the so then that's why he is calling his father you. He, in former times, there are many fools like you. He was calling his father because they are not able to conquer their enemies, 6 enemies. We know Mana Prabhupada said, Mana Shashtani Indani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Mana, mind, Shashtani, 5 senses, and 6th is mind. So which includes the mind also, the 5 senses and the mind. So that they are our biggest enemy. So we have the mind start thinking and then senses start working. First the thought comes in our mind. Like if we want to give pleasure to our eyes, some material sense pleasure, then first the thought comes to our mind and then senses start working. Same thing for the tongue, for all our senses. So this like for the ear. So all the senses they work like that. So, but he said like you are thinking you have conquered your mind, you have conquered all the directions. So, but if you conquer these 6 enemies, then you are very powerful because they are our enemies. We can conquer the outside world easily, but we cannot conquer inside our heart. Inside our heart is very important. If we conquer our inside, our senses and mind, then whatever somebody is saying or good or bad, we never feel anything if we conquer the mind and senses. And that is the only way is by association of devotees we can conquer this mind, because there is no other way for our mind and senses to think of anything in busy serving anything else. If we are in association, if we are in that atmosphere, and if we don't have that atmosphere, we can start creating this kind of atmosphere. If we don't have any association, we can start chanting and hearing, reading. These are the ways that can help us to come out from these 6 enemies. They are the strong enemy. Krishna is saying, my material nature is durataya. Devi yasha gunmai mamaya durataya. Krishna is telling this, not anybody else. If anybody say, we cannot believe. But Krishna himself said in Bhagavad Gita, mama maya durataya. My material nature is very strong. It's very hard to overcome. And how we can overcome, and how the material energy is working under the 3 modes of material nature. And these 3 modes, they are working on, and then we are working with the 5 senses that include the mind. So that's why he's telling his father, you have conquered all the 10 directions, but first you have to control your mind and senses, because they are very important. So that's why, like Prabhupada said, in the material world, so everyone has become a servant of senses. We are all, if we are not using our senses in Krishna's satisfaction, then we are using them for our sense gratification. So this is very important. Srila Prabhupada said it very nicely. Originally, our soul is pure, part and parcel of Krishna, and we are originally everyone, we are as a servant of Krishna. That is our prime duty. Jivere Swarup Krishna Nitya Das. So we are all the servant of Krishna. That is our real constitutional position. We are not servant of Maya, we are servant of Krishna, and we have to work according to that. So that we should know first who we are, and then we start working that. But in ignorant, like sometimes the material modes work, sometimes our material desires, the Maya works through lusty desire, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. These things, they conquer us. Like some kind of, if we have any kind of lusty desires, that our mind start thinking, and then our senses start working according to that. When anger comes, like that is also mind created by mind. If somebody is angry, and if we control our mind, we can tell. So that's why in Bhagavatam it says, when somebody is angry, just give him a chance to speak. And by speaking, after some time, that person become, after some time, he became very, very peaceful, quiet. So if somebody is angry, it's good, like we can control ourselves and just keep quiet, then automatically we can tell our mind, no. Our senses also, our tongue also, just keep quiet for some time. And greed, like greed is, lolium is very, very dangerous. That destroy the whole, everything. If we have, we should have greed for more and more reading, for serving Krishna. That's why we can use anything for Krishna service, like anger. We have such a nice best example of Hanumanji. He used his anger in the service of Lord Ramchandra. So same thing, greed, lolium, we should have. In Nectar of Instruction, there is nice look. It says we should have lolium for Krishna service. And illusion, this is material world's reality. We are all illusion. Even though we know our senses are imperfect, still we are thinking we are perfect. This is, and madness, we should not be mad for anything in the material world. We should mad for Krishna's devotion service. Whatever service we have, whatever service is given to us, we should do from the heart and soul, because that is our prime duty. Serving Krishna is our prime duty. Serving the devotee and Krishna, that is very, very important. And jealousy also. Jealousy can be good. We can use, like jealousy in the material world is really bad. Like if that is the jealousy, like we have three kind of misery: Adi Bhotika, Adi Devika, Adi Dhyatmika. In that jealousy is like when we see that misery comes from other living entities, like jealousy means like somebody has car. If I don't have car, I'm start feeling jealousy toward other person. And even in the material world is so bad. Like even if I have car, I'm very happy and satisfied. If others get car, I feel no, why that person get car. So this is in the material world. So, but we should change our thoughts. We have to change. If we change, no, according to. So we should, the devotees are paradukha dukhi. They never feel any happiness when others are suffering. They feel pain. And when the other is enjoying, they are also feeling happiness. That is a devotee's quality. So then we saw like how Prahlad Maharaj, he's telling his father, like, you have conquered you have conquered the 10 directions, but the important from top of that is and that our senses. And so that's why he said, like, you are in ignorance. He's telling his father, because you are conquered by your senses. That's why you are in ignorance. We can feel the ignorance in the material world. Whenever, like here, like Prabhupada quoted the Maya through how Maya works through like lusty desire, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. These are the different weapon of Maya, and they are all ignorance in the material world. When we feel anything, any any lusty desire, anger, greed, or anything, so then we are in ignorance. Ignorance control us. So this is the how these three modes of the material nature works. So when we are in mode of goodness, we feel always joyful. So, and when we are in passion, we are very enthusiastic, like not in a good way. Like if we are in very passionate to get something, like we should not be very, very passionate for the material gain. So we should do it as a service of the Lord, and we can leave the result on Krishna. Krishna, I'm doing my best. Whatever you feel, you can give me. If you don't feel anything, I should not get, then it's okay. Whatever you do is good for me. So just leave everything on Krishna. And ignorance is totally controllers. Our mind stop thinking of anything else. This is the role of mind. So we have to conquer this mind with our intelligence. And we have then, if we conquer our mind, then automatically our senses are controlled. The biggest enemy is mind. So we have conquered the mind. This is very, very important. So these shlokas, the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj are very wonderful and excellent. So thank you very much, everybody, for giving me the opportunity to serve all the devotees. Please forgive me if I made any offenses. And if you have any question, any comments, please feel free. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Mandavat pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you for explaining these verses, Mataji. Very nice. And I mean, we've heard so many verses of Prahlad Maharaj teachings, and my heart was so much desiring that, I should hear and intently read. And it's so nice that, you're coming and explaining to us. You took 3 verses today. And like each of the verses has such a deep meaning. And it's very amazing how a small little boy, 5-year-old boy, explaining everything to his father, such in-depth knowledge that we also get to hear, because like we are also in the same boat as the father, because we have so many shortcomings. So Mataji, in the verse that you read, the last verse that you read, it's saying that in the material everyone things that is conquered, that he has conquered his enemies, not understanding his enemies are his uncontrolled mind and the 5 senses. So when further in the purport it mentions about this, originally everyone is a servant of Krishna, but in ignorance one thinks, then one is engaged in service of Maya, through service of Maya, through lusty desire, anger, this. So how is the connection between like uncontrolled mind and senses and this? That's my question.
Actually, Mataji, these are lusty desire, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. These are the agent of Maya, and Maya works through our mind and senses. If we lose our mind little bit here and there, then these thoughts start coming. These start coming in our that small example is anger. Like if somebody is angry, the mind start thinking like that person is saying bad to me, so I should also reply for that. And then from the tongue we start speaking. So that instead of that, if we can tell our mind, if other person is angry, let's just keep quiet for some time, he will be okay. He is my friend, but he is angry, he is speaking like this. So that's just we have to tell our mind. Then if we tell our mind, then automatically our tongue stop speaking. But if we lose little bit our mind, our false ego, no, how come that person is angry on us? I did everything perfectly, how come that he is angry on me? I should reply. And instead of that, we can take our time. After some time, when person is cooled down, he had something, give him some water or something. If he's cooled down, then we can start explaining, Prabhu, you are angry for this reason, and I did because of that. Then he will start thinking, oh, why I was angry? There is no reason. And I feel in my lives many times, when we keep quiet, we feel so good. It gives us so peace of mind, because I didn't reply for that. And later that person realized, even without our saying also, that person realizes, no, that what I did, it was not a good way, without our saying also. So that's why like here he said, first you have conquered the 10 directions, but first you have to conquer these 6 enemies. So these 6 enemies, through these things, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy, they are the agent of Maya. Is it right, Mataji? Is it clear?
Yes, Mataji, and also like I was not very attentive, but see the translation has I have these fools are very proud, thinking, I have conquered all enemies in all the 10 directions. But a person is victorious over the 6 enemies. These agents, like you said, of Maya, and is equipoised towards all living entities. For them, there is no enemies. So how do we have to, like, these verses are teaching us, we are learning that we have to literally guard ourselves, because you never know how these lusty desires, anger, greed, illusion can come and hit us at any time. And Maya, like we are nothing else but another small Hiranyakashipu.
Yes, Mataji. Even though, Mataji, we are chanting our doing all everything, but still the mind is so powerful. Even you can see, like in the previous verse we were reading, Arjuna is telling to Prabhupada is giving the example of Arjuna, like who was a pure devotee, who is always with Krishna. He is telling that I can conquer air, but it's very hard to control the mind. And mind is the biggest thing. Mind start thinking, then all our senses are controlled by mind. Yeah. Yes, Madhani. Just like we all can just try our best, Madhani. I know this material world, it's very, very hard to do things, but still, if we try, Krishna is very kind. Even though we make thousands of mistakes, but still, if we do his devotion service, he is very kind. In the 11th canto, we were reading very nicely in the 21 chapter, and even the 20th chapter also, Krishna said like how his devotees are, he was telling to Uddhavji, like even though devotees are doing all kind of activity, but still if he is on this path, devotional path, still I accept him as my devotee. So we have Krishna's hope, that hope only gives us a little bit relief, Mataji. Otherwise, I know it's very hard to control the mind and these 6 enemies, our 5 senses. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. And when it talks about the modes of material nature in text 8, you read the translation. And yesterday only I was reading from Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand, the 3 modes of material nature. And I had heard like we have to be above the mode of goodness also, right? So that's what the Gita teaches us, that we have to be above the mode of goodness also, right? It's important.
Yes, Shuddha Sattva, Mataji, pure goodness. We have to reach that's why Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So devotees, they transcend the modes of material nature and comes to the level of Brahman. Yeah, and that shlok is in Bhagavad Gita 14:26 that describe that. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, and it's also saying that even if when we are in mode of goodness, it's we are basically we that time also we are not relieved, liberated, or so to say, we haven't crossed the cycle of birth and death. We can continue in the mode of goodness continuously, like it's kind of, I mean, we are trying our best to come to mode of goodness, but even goodness we have to transcend. But yes, Srila Prabhupada has given us ways to do that, by so many devotional methods are there, chanting, offering prasadam, reading, associating, and so much is there. So maybe one day we can somehow, through these practices, transcend even the mode of goodness, which we are not in right now. We are always falling short of, always in ignorance, and I'm speaking for myself.
We are also, Mataji, just trying, nothing else.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your wonderful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you all very much.
Question and comments for Mataji. It'll be nice. Also, Mataji, like regarding the modes of material nature, I was thinking that, I was reading the verses, but if I had not heard from a devotee, initially in my life, that, that even we have to go beyond the mode of goodness. I heard that line, it stuck in my head from some speaker or someone. And then when I read this Bhagavad Gita, and the whole purport is not directly saying this, that you have to transit this, but the way it is explained, what people are doing in mode of goodness, uh, it makes it so clear. So I was thinking to read Prabhupada's books and also to hear from devotees, that combination that makes, like understandable the scriptures. Otherwise, it's to understand, because I can read this, and if I had not heard that we have to transit mode of goodness, then I can think, okay, let me choose to be in mode of goodness. So, but the devotees have taken that inner meaning, what Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna is trying to uh, explain to us, because, they are at a higher level of
Yes, Mataji.
Maharajas and senior devotees, that they, it's so important to hear from them, because that really makes a lot of difference. Otherwise, only reading Bhagavad Gita by yourself
And
is
yes, actually, Mataji, when devotee speaks, they give their own realization also, how they feel. That affects us. Like, so sometimes they tell their own incident, or somebody refer. Like, we have so many Prabhupada stories, like how Prabhupada, he did the magic. So that attracts us, like how the devotees, and they are not speaking artificially, they are speaking from their heart. They went through that process. That's why we feel. So both things are important. Hearing is also important, and reading also important. So both are.
Yes, Mataji, like the last paragraph of verse 14.6 says that thus there is no likelihood of liberation out of being transferred to the spiritual world. Repeatedly, one may become a philosopher, a scientist, or a poet, and repeatedly become entangled in the same disadvantage of birth and death. But due to illusion of the material energy, one thinks that sort of a life is pleasant. Now, this is like different sections, right? This is talking about the section under the mode of goodness. So it's like, I mean, we have to, we keep talking about going back to Godhead, and we have to be out of the circle of birth and death. But even the mode of goodness is entangling us. So how much we should be away
Yes.
from ignorance and passion, because even that is so entangling. And then Bhagavad Gita, which is like, I think, one scripture which no one should like give up on ever in life. Read till, always read that, because that's clearing. I mean, at times, Mataji, we forget also with the body. But Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us through the Bhagavad
Yes,
Gita
Mother.
that, we sometimes we get so entangled in our life, and then we think, Arey, we are not this body, we are like spirit soul. So, our activities should be not based only on body needs and stuff like that. So, yes, Mataji, like I was reading this yesterday about the modes, and I was trying to make some notes of distinctions between the three modes of material nature, like in my diary. And then today, when we heard that in trans 8, I was thinking how the scriptures are so connected to each other. It's not like when we are reading only Bhagavatam, we have to stick to that. We have to keep referring to Bhagavad Gita, because that's really helpful. So thank you,
Yes,
Mata.
Mother. Like, because when we read, then we can make the connection. Reading and hearing. If we read the same shloka, and when we hear about that, then we can make connection, and our understanding is really good. Like how that thing makes sense.
Yes, Mati.
Yes.
Because earlier, like I remember on this conference call, I heard that yes, Srimad Bhagavatam is like at a master's level, and CC is Chaitanya Charamrita. I cannot say
Charitamrita. Chaitanya
Charatamrita.
Charitamrita.
CC is at the PhD level. But still we can read all the scriptures simultaneously if we want to. Like first canto, we can start, even the CC we can do reading, because they are still interconnected, and we still need Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is something which you have to keep on reading, keep on reading. It's like uh, there is a, because I used to think like that I should not go to Bhagavatam reading. So then through these classes, I realized that yes, no, we can read that. And also, like, everybody should have a Bhagavatam set. That's very important to have at home, because somehow, reading on the phone and iPad and all is not so personal. And, having a
Yeah,
book.
even touching Bhagavad Gita, even if you have small children at home, like
Yeah.
my younger daughter, whenever we have Bhagavatam, we read Bhagavatam in the evening, and she like to see all the pictures. Like kids, they are attracted to
Mm.
the pictures. So all the pictures, and reading also, like our young elder daughter also. when we were reading Bhagavatam when she was small with her. Like when we were reading, after reading also she want to finish that chapter by herself reading. She was always very excited what will be happening next after that. So Bhagavatam, it's kind of addiction, Mataji. If you don't have good addiction, then we goes to the bad addiction. So if we have addiction for the Bhagavatam, that's always nice and wonderful.
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji,
Mataji.
like, we have our local temple. We do like five translation readings, and after that we do the discussion on one of the. I mean, we read one purport from that five translations, so we can move faster, right? But on in Bhagavatam, there's just still another way we engage ourselves in reading. So it is. I mean, we're moving so fast, and there's so much to learn, and the mind is saying that it's such a nice way too, because otherwise we are like right now doing this and then, but we're moving fast that way. But I just had some thought, I just forgot what I had to say about that. So it's really the more we read, and it doesn't matter which page, even if you're going faster pace, slow pace, whatever pace,
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah. According to yeah,
yeah,
whatever
purports have
we
so much to teach us, like
yes, so much
there will be
like
all. Yes, Mataji.
if we read daily Prabhupada calendar also, Mataji, that also
Hmm.
teaches us a lot. It
Yeah.
depends how we take. We should be very attentive hearing. If we read less or more, that doesn't matter. We should think like Mananam is also very, very important, like what we read. So that's also whatever according to like so if somebody has no time, so depend on how much we have time and
Yes.
just mold our life in such a way. Just leave, just read little bit or small more. Like if you have time more, you can read more. If you don't have, at least read something because that's very, very important. Reading or hearing both are the two things very important. Nice. Thank you, Madhavi.
Mataji, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, all the devotees. Hare Krishna, Madhavi.
Anybody has any comments or questions for Mataji? Otherwise, we can end the call.
Yes, Mataji, can I disturb you? I'm new to this
No,
association.
no
And
disturbance, Mataji. Please go ahead.
I just want to know what is the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam.
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's Vani, Mataji. Like Bhagavad Gita is Krishna spoke to his friend Arjun at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and Bhagavatam is the devotee's realization. Like when Sukdev Goswami he got this curse, like he will die in 7 days. That time he invited Sukdev Goswami to speak Bhagavatam. For the 7 day he was hearing, and Sukdev Goswami he was speaking Bhagavatam, and in that he was describing all the Krishna's different incarnations and how there is loving exchange between Krishna and his devotees. So Bhagavatam is the Gita, like it has many. Bhagavatam has many teachings, stories, and prayers. So Bhagavatam is that, and Bhagavad Gita is our law book that tells like how we can live our life in such a way that we can keep Krishna in our center. Both are the very important books, and both are teaching us how to love Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. I got it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, Mataji, I got back what I was saying. So what happens is that we do the Zoom session. I had forgotten what I was saying. Sorry, memory short. So we do quick reading of translation and then one purport, right? So everybody in our temple group, they do it on Zoom. And I'm the only one who cannot read on the Zoom. And I asked them, no, you should tell me which translations to read. Which, so the person who's conducting will say five. I get my, so I have my seventh canto here, and then eighth canto we are reading there. So eighth canto I have, so see, all these books are lying all around me. So eighth canto I open on Saturday when we have a Zoom session. And then first canto, no, I'm sorry, I'm on second canto, I'm reading myself. I finished the first canto. So then, I'm like reading through mine and I'm not looking at the screen. I mean, it's so nice to have the book, read everything and nicely and sometimes make some notes and all. And it's so nice to have the book with you. And so I was just wanted to give that example that there are people reading online Bhagavatam, but it's nothing compared to, of course, I mean, sometimes, people are in different places, they don't have the book with them. But whenever we get a chance to read, and we are reading like, together, say 5 verses, I think it's best to open the book. And how much time it takes just to go and, there are 18 books, but it's like a jewel of knowledge. We can quickly, get the book out and keep it with and read like that. So that's what I was trying to say.
You
That-
are, Mataji, you are the devotee. That's why you feel, outsider. We have in our house we have 3 Bhagavatam set, Mataji. That's they are open. But outsider they feel, oh, this so big book. It has 18 thick books. How you will read it? So how, like, sometime if they don't want to take, okay, let's read online. But after reading online, then they have taste. They want Bhagavatam after that. Whatever way, Madhani, we have to engage people in reading Bhagavatam. That is
Yes,
very,
Mataji. And also, Mataji, like this conference call has been going on for a long time, like 10 years plus. But initially, I was just reading because, like I was not connecting Bhagavatam to my heart. I felt like I'm reading, okay, class happened, Bhagavatam, Prabhupada wants us to read. But, over the time when we engage, we develop that ruchi, that love, like we want to attend the class and not miss it, thinking, I don't know what the speaker must have said today, something which, we're not able to understand, or, the language is not comprehensible. So then, you get that inside urge to learn more and more, and then you develop the ruchi, so that's what our temple is also doing. That, there are many young people who join, and, they have a fear that there's so much knowledge, so many cantos, how will we do? So we are going super fast speed, 5 translation, 1 purport we read, and in the end we have to discuss, like it's like a 1-hour class we do, which is so nice. And everyone is, getting enthusiastic that, oh yes. And, they are like, within 2-3 years they have moved from first canto to the 9th, like that, just reading the translation, and 1 purport of your own choice you read, So I'm so happy that devotees all over are engaging here also. Shyama Rasika Mataji, her husband, and so many, Vanamalini Mataji, Puja Mataji, all of us are somehow, we are, the devotees here engaging us. So, but I'll just end to say that it's very, very important to have the Bhagavatam set at home, because that is very purifying for us. And, it is like, we can literally we can worship Bhagavatam even if we don't have deities at home. Bhagavatam is such that, it's giving us so much of information about Krishna, glorifying Krishna. So that's very important. Yeah.
nice, Madhavi. Nice. Wonderful. Thank you, Madhavi. So do you think,
Yeah.
yes, anything else, Madhavi?
Yeah, I was just thinking, there's any other question online if somebody is posted, but no, that's not there. So I think, yeah, Partha Prabhu was waiting. Partha Prabhu is not given his realizations. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
I wanted to say thank you to Mataji for giving such a nice nectarian class. Yes, it is so important to realize that the real enemies are our 6 enemies within. And Prahlad Maharaj is making it very clear and bluntly. Yes, it's so nice to carry, because Krishna says that how this the desire, the lust is the chief of the enemy. Dhayate vicham pumcham sangasteshu pajayate. Starting from there all the way, how the jiva falls down. It's so important to realize. Thank you, Mataji, for your kind association. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for the nice realization, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Mataji, is it?
Yeah, so we can end the call because it's almost close to 8:30, 1 hour, 8:35. So if, yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Once
Thank
again,
you,
we look
Mataji.
forward for your association again
Yes.
next month.
Thank
And
you, Mataji. Thank you for
for
giving me.
to all the devotees on the call. Vanchakalpatrubhascha.
Kripa Sindhu Patita Nam Pavnabhi Vaishnavi
Namo Namah. Anand
Hare
Koti
Vaishnavi Hare Krishna.
ki jai. Shyama Kishori Mataji ki jai.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. All the devotees ki jai.
And thank you to all the devotees who joined today.
Hare Krishna.
We'll see you all tomorrow again for the next session of, we'll do covering text.